Also, go to all social media platforms. Link will be in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you.
Bop, 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 bop.
Hey, what's good? What's
Na,
going on,
na,
man?
na.
Hopefully y'all hear me loud and clear, man. What's up, Fanatic? How you doing?
Hey
Hit me.
man, hey man, say man, hey man, say man. I'm gonna just tell y'all like this. Big best man in the building, my boy Derek Boykins. Hey, happy to see you, my king. Happy to see you, my guy. Big best man. Hey, Derek, I got a question. I'm sorry, y'all. I did not mean to start like this, but Derek is in Besseman's in the building. Derek, who the head coach of Besseman 11? Who the hell? I'm just asking. I'm asking you, Derek. I'm asking you. I'm gonna see if you gonna keep it 1,000 with me, bro. Who the head coach of Best 11? Hey man, shout out to everybody that's here, man. 35 loaded, my boy Low in the building. We've been seeing you. He said Clayton about to tell the world how scary them Texas dudes is for real. I'm gonna say this. I don't know if I should say it now, Low. Hey, Low. Low, I can talk to Low. Low from Atlanta. He a real dude, but he all about loyalty and respect. Low, how you feel about them Texas dudes, bro, acting like that? How you feel about that, Low? As a loyal man yourself, bro, somebody who stand on business. How you feel about people? How you feel about that, Low? I just want to know how you feel. We'll get into how somebody else feel later. Headache gang in the building. London, headache gang in the building. What you call it, Jake? What's good? Pop Brown, Supreme always in the building. Guess what, Pop? You don't win it this year. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm getting a lot of non-U's hit me up. I ain't gonna lie. My boy Foden went down to Hemi boys. I don't even know if y'all gonna be the best 9U in the building no more. I don't know if y'all gonna be the best 9U in the state of Georgia this year. The way my boy Food talking, the way my boy Coach Fu, head coach of Walk Down Gang talking, I don't know if Supreme be the best 9U in the state of Georgia this year, boy. And I asked him, hell, you know what, Ken? I don't keep secrets. Hell, I can't keep nothing anyway. I asked Fu, I said, boy, you stepping into Supreme? That's Supreme. Like, you comfortable with that? That man gave me the face like, why wouldn't I be comfortable? What? Stepped on. Shout out to my boy Nuke. That's over with. Done with. Finito. My boy Fu say all that Supreme stuff ends. Over with. Can't wait to play him. They'll play him tomorrow type vibes, man. Mooney, man. Mooney podcast, man. Mooney podcast. He says, my guys, I ain't missed a show since August 2025. Hey, boy, next time I see you, make sure we dap up, bro. Make sure we dap up. Pop Brown, you
That's
right
some
for
real
that.
support right
Are
there.
they gonna play? Hell yeah, they gonna play. Whatchamacallit, man. Tell them folks line it up. Everybody talk a good game. I ain't gonna cap. People don't
On full
seem to
play.
be people don't seem to be scared of y'all, man. He said 35, capping on James, 35 say capping on James Davis. Just don't sit well with me. We stick together on the out of towners.
But do y'all stick together when y'all wrong on the out of towners?
Bree, don't come in here with all that negativity tonight, bruh. Come in here with a smile and some chipperness. My guy Clayton is coming through the building. Look, see how he's smiling in the background? Now Micah tried to make him look dead with a black and white dead picture.
Yeah, I said, what the hell, Mikey?
Hey man, that was the pit. That was one of the most recent pictures he had, man.
Hey man, Clayton is a happy dude, man. Shout out to Clay. Bree, but coming here smiling. What's your conversation? Like, you ain't got to be scared to take a loss, fanatic. Now, I agree. Y'all gonna take some losses in 2020, 2026. He say, Gabriel. He say, ready for these rules. Everyone's saying they going nationals and they ain't won state. Y'all put a lot of emphasis. State means something. Okay. Does state mean something to you, Gabriel? Why does state mean something to you? Answer me that. Why does state mean something? You feel me? I really want to know. For all my people out there, I want y'all to tell me, why do y'all put a lot of emphasis on state? I don't put a lot of emphasis on state, but I think it's because I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant. I don't get the gist because and let me explain why. Because a lot of state tournaments don't even have the best teams from the state playing them. So I don't know. Y'all have to explain it to me. Pop Brown, tell everyone Supreme got chinks in the armor or whatever you need to say for folks to play. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, Coach Hilton, I'm gonna get Supreme hella games this year. I'm gonna get Supreme hella games this year because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think SED should have won a national championship. I think it's
Nah,
Hey,
come
hey,
on,
don't
P.
spoil my
Nah.
stuff, bro. Don't. I got something coming for SED.
okay. I
I
ain't gonna
got.
mess up what Ken got going.
Yeah,
Y'all lucky he stopped me because I was about to go down a rabbit hole. But why?
yeah.
But they ain't the only ones. They ain't the only ones, bro. It's a few teams when I looked at it, because y'all know we doing a draft. 10U draft coming Sunday. I'm finna throw it out there to force Ken to send his picks in. 10U draft is coming Sunday. 10, which is not 11.
Oh, 10U is gonna be stacked.
10U,
Listen,
which
I
is not
tried to
11
go
this year.
25. 10U, right, is so stacked that I tried to go with 25. I'm still working on it, but Fnatic only want to do 22. It's too deep just to be doing only 22.
22.
Hey,
22. I
listen.
want to leave it at
All right.
22.
So 22 players. Hey, so we doing a
22
draft
players will
Sunday.
be drafted Sunday.
Yes, we got our
We're
10U
skipping 9U. I don't want to skip 9U. Ken is making me skip 9U.
for sure. For
Skip.
sure.
Hey Bree, we're not just skipping 7U. Ken is making me skip 9U because he said them folks do not promote linemen enough. So we skipping and we're going straight to uh 10U, which is now 11U.
And that's not just why. A lot of them folks don't even have
And
profile.
we doing
IG
23, by the way, Ken. We agreed to 23. Just throwing it out.
23. Okay. Yeah. I still think we should have a little bit more.
My
But, hey
God.
man, you had a question about the refs, before Clayton come
Oh,
on, man.
okay. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Hey, man, can y'all do me a favor this year? And I'm telling y'all early in the year. I'm asking for this. I don't ask for much. Leave the damn referees alone in 2026. I'm asking y'all in January. Leave the refs alone. Why? Because I'm encouraging every ref in 2026 to throw y'all tails out. Not the fans. Not the fans. I think the referees be too worried about the fans. That's the only thing I get of refs. Who cares what a fan says? They're fans. They're behind a fence. But them coaches, throw them out. Them players, you gotta go. I'm kicking. I won't. If I was a football ref and your 9-year-old told me to shut the hell up, bye. Got to go. Got to go. Leave the refs alone in 2026, bro. I don't ask for much. Ken has vilified the refs. He's made y'all against the refs, but don't listen to him. This is the one time I'm telling y'all, do not listen to this man up here, bro.
It's not the one time. That's all you try to say is to get folks to not listen to me, man. So, listen, Fanatic is a person, he just, even if he's lying, he just want to, persuade y'all to do what it is that he want. You always stand with the light. Stand by the light, stand with the truth. And the truth is I, okay? So make sure y'all believe and understand that when I say something, it's for the best. All right. So it is what it is. But I've been seeing some stuff, man, on the on the net, man. I've been seeing that Coach Pat trying to get the Midwest Hawks game, and I don't think Coach Azula is biting or bending. So it looked like we gonna have to make that game. You know what I'm saying? Just that's what it looks like because Coach ain't he's not breaking. So it is what it is. So look like we gonna have to sit down and have that conversation. But I also want to say before we come on, listen, bro, we have a lot of folks that's reaching out. We probably have to add a day because we getting a lot of folks that want to be a part of in our event.
Right,
We're not
right.
going to share with y'all yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. Not yet. We
Not
almost
yet.
there. We
Because we
almost
know
there.
I'm starting to already understand how this game go. People will go behind you, try to talk you, Nah, I'm not dealing with that. So we gonna announce, and we gonna be, having some teams, locked in, and I'm telling you, this gonna be one for the books. That's all I can say. That's
Look
all I
what
can
Bree
tell you.
said. Look what Bree said. She said the draft ain't got nothing to do with games being played. Y'all can showcase our babies too. Tell them to line it up, Bree. Who do you want? Who you want to? Hey, Bree. What team do you get with your coaches? Find out who they want to play. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, man. You just all you gotta do is say the word, man. We trying to make dreams come true. Trying to make this like Disney World, man. Trying to make the dreams come true around here. We're trying to make dreams come true. The goal is to definitely showcase as much talent and the strongest matchups that we can.
That what PA said. Said keep it 2 days with the strongest matchups. Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. If we do it
We
like that,
trying.
we gonna have to reject a lot of teams. So that's why we was gonna add them days. You know what I'm saying? But either way, it's gonna work out. It's gonna pan out the way it's supposed to. But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. But yeah, man, I've been seeing them trying to get that game. It's been taking too long, bro. That's all I can say. And shout out to Relentless. Also, like I said, that's one team that I give y'all that's saying that they for sure confirm
Shout out to
100%.
Relentless, man.
Yeah. And so they want to play So Icy. Um we got Clayton in the building. Yo,
Clayton is in the building. Clayton is in the building.
what's good?
What up,
What's
fellas? How
good,
y'all
man?
doing?
Ah,
Doing
man,
good,
you
man.
already know, man. We doing good. Just trying to make sure, man, we continue to build this platform for these babies, man. You know what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
what's up? What's up, man? How you doing? How you been?
I'm good, man. Just,
Tired.
steady working, steady working,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely, man. So I know you see all of the stuff that's out here, man. So I just want to kind of get into some of it. Actually, Fanatic, do you have something that you want to say first?
Nah, man, we
No, man. I
glad to have
mean,
Clayton here too. By the way, Clayton, we glad to have you here. Go ahead.
Oh, yes,
man, I
sir.
appreciate I appreciate you guys, man. But no, I mean, as you know, as always, man, this youth football platform, this youth football industry that we in, man, is forever changing. You know,
Mm.
and one thing about it is change is always gonna happen. It always has happened, always will happen, and we either change with it or it forgets about you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, man. Where a lot of people may see, I guess negativity. I see areas of growth. I see areas of opportunity. I'm always confident in the platform that I represent and my business partners and how we do specific things. And everybody may not always agree with it, but ultimately, you know, we know we always got the kids' best interest at heart, and it is prevalent in the way that we do things. So I just leave it at that.
Definitely. Salute to that. And I mean, speaking of change, I was actually speaking to Ken and Fanatic earlier, and this is Mike in the background, but
Okay.
um, I wanted to salute you because you changed you football. And when you think about it, I want to ask you what made you come with the 7-1 date off the rip because you set up and established something that wasn't going on, and all the time we hear AYF teams come on here, oh yeah, it's always been 731 731 731 Pop Warner 731
Yeah.
UIFL 731, but you came and you did something and you made it prominent enough to where the best teams in the world play on that date. So what made you pick that date as opposed to the 731?
So, you know, I had thought about a couple different dates as going through the process. Initially when we started it, man, we started with a June 1st date. And a lot of people don't even know that first year of YNC we was June 1st, right? And then after looking at it a little bit, that's when we kind of decided on the 7-1 date, right? But originally, when we first started, I kind of thought about let's use the date that the schools use to identify kids. So that way, classification
Mm,
wise, for their grade would align with the age, right? But then as I dug a little deeper into it, there's still a large gap from the guy who turns a particular age in January all the way to the guy who won't turn till September 1st, which I think was the national date or something like that for schools, right?
hmm.
So I said, well, let's do something that's right in the middle, you know. And ultimately, it was like, should we do June 1st or should we do 7-1? That 30-day window kind of made a difference, right? So ultimately, it decided
Hmm.
on 7-1, which isn't exactly in the middle of the year, but it's pretty darn close. So that way, whether if you at the bottom of the age group or the top of your age group, at the most, there's only like a 6-month gap. There's not a huge gap like you have in some cases, right? So that's the way that
Hmm.
that's the reason I chose that date. That's the reason why we've kind of rolled with it a little bit. And as you can see, man, you know we have changed youth football in so many ways, and not just talking about age cutoff dates, but you got to think about this, man. A lot of platforms were set in their ways when we hit the scene. We're the
For
ones that
sure.
made people. We're the ones that made people change the design of their championship ring, and their ring had been like that for over 15, 20 years. We made
Hmm.
people change the design of their trophies, and their trophies were set for 15, 20 years. We made people add more things to what they give these kids when they win because their profit margin was set for over 15, 20 years. We made a lot of people change it, right? And whether if you like
Hmm.
YNC or you don't like YNC, right? Ultimately, the changes that all came in place because of our influence in youth football benefits the kids. Now kids get lava awards. They get better jewelry. They get better trophies, right? When you're at the YNC, you become a YNC champion, you get bombarded with just the most popular accessory and uniform brand in football right now, which is Battle Sports, right? None
Hmm.
of that stuff had been done before. And then I started noticing other platforms trying to kind of copy the blueprint, partnering up with other companies, partnering up with other merchandising companies, and trying to do something along those same lines. Nobody was doing the type of highlight videos and marketing and social media platform like we were when we first hit the scene. Now everybody has
Definitely.
their own little spin-off on it, has their own little version on it. So the reality of it is, man, whether if you talking about the biggest platform or you're talking about the the smallest platform, everybody's kind of taking a little bit of the DNA of the YNC and try to sprinkle it within how they do things.
I want to ask you this, Clayton. One of the things that I think that you kind of don't get credit for is the exposure. What made y'all say we're gonna live stream every game? We're gonna live stream every game. We're gonna allow cameras. We're gonna allow any. I don't even say y'all allow anybody, but hell, it feel like it. You feel what I'm saying? That y'all allow anybody that is a real media, has a real media presence. We're gonna allow them to come on the field, and we ain't gonna stop nobody from doing what they do as far as exposure.
So I'm gonna say this, man, and a lot of people, if you really understand business, if you really understand what it costs to run events of this magnitude across the country, you'll understand that the reason we did that is because it's not about the money for us. It's not about the money for us. Look at how many people try to stream their whole event and they want to charge you for it, right? YNC has always been a free stream. You see what I'm saying? It's never been about penny pinching for us. It's always been about exposure. It's always been about showing everybody in the world that we have the best teams in the world and we want everybody to know without a doubt why the best teams play here, right? It's always been about that. And I think that gets misconstrued in the entire process of it. If you truly understand business, if you truly understand what it costs to run a platform or to run an event of that magnitude, what if you're talking about the cost of referees, the venue, the insurance, the cost of the police coverage, right? The cost of the paramedics, the cost to fly staff in and pay staff, right? We don't use volunteers. This is paid staff. Once you factor all those different things in, the cost of the awards, the cost of the trophies, and all those things, and then on top of that, we cutting the check to battle to be able to give all these teams this stuff, right? If you truly understand that, take your bias away, take your hatred for me or the platform away, and truly understand dollars and cents, then you'll see that's why we're able to do it, because the money don't matter. It's not about a profit for us. It's about getting those kids to understand that it pays to be a winner. When you sacrifice, when you dedicate yourself, when you have commitment, you become the best. And this is what comes with being the best.
So at what point did the colleges start coming and trying to look at these kids? What would you say about year 5, something like that?
Somewhere there around 4 or 5, and I think that's the big thing, man, because for so long people would always use that stigma. Oh, you can't get a college opportunity, or you can't get an offer from youth football, which in some facets, if we're being real about it, it's kind of true. You can't offer a 13U or a 14U kid from the YNC, and that kid can commit that day, because it's an uncommittable offer,
Mhm.
right? The offers don't become committable onto a certain point within their junior year, right? But the reality of it is that still that offer has some value, because that coach that offered you at 13U and 14U, if you continue to develop and continue to do the things that you're supposed to do on your Friday nights in high school, that same offer that he gave you at 13U is going to be the committable offer that you can commit to when you're a junior in high school, right? So these are the things that people don't really want to talk about, right? And we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of times I may not give you the name of the university or the name of the kid, because there are particular recruiting guidelines that have to stay in place. But when that particular university or that particular kid is able to publicize it, we always put it out there, man, because we want to celebrate these kids, man. When God has blessed you with the athletic ability that some of these kids have, man, you got to celebrate it. Why not celebrate it? I mean,
Absolutely.
that's what the platform is for.
So at one point, I think y'all was in y'all trying phase. Y'all did D2. I think y'all did it for like a year, didn't do the next year. What happened? Or you just felt like it didn't represent the brand how you wanted it to.
So I had a meeting with my board, right? So I know a lot of times, you guys see me, right? And when Jonah was involved, you saw Jonah, right? But there's an actual board. It's about 5 of us that we meet, and every year we talk about the things we did well, the things that we need to improve on, how we might need to, critique and adjust some things to make the brand better, to make the platform better. And one of the things that we talked about, man, is that instead of creating this large Division 1 and Division 2, to try to give everybody an opportunity to be part of the YNC, let's focus on what we do best, and that is rewarding the best teams. You know, the YNC isn't for everyone, bro. And I wish it was. I wish every kid could see what that experience is like to play at the youth national championship. Do we have turf fields on all our fields? We don't, right? But there's no feeling that can be duplicated when you making that YNC entrance in that tunnel. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I wish all those kids could feel that and understand that and be able to play in front of these huge crowds and 5 to 8,000 people watching your stream, right? And battle putting you on a highlight video, and boom, it's getting millions of views, right? I want all these kids to experience that. But the reality of it is that it can't happen. Just like everybody can't play for the Indiana. Everybody can't play for Alabama. Everybody can't play for the University of Miami. Only the best kids can do that. So we had to hone back down and say, listen, we are really good at identifying the best teams, rewarding the best teams, putting a platform together for the best teams. So we have to stay in that lane.
So
I
do
have a
you
question.
hold on,
You
Mike?
got it, Ken? You got it.
Yeah. So basically, with that being the case, do you? Because I know you could have grabbed any team to fill in the brackets. So do you feel like that, like y'all pretty much would rather go with less teams than just basically filler teams? Is that like part of the reason why you guys, it's kind of light on some ages?
You have to, man, because the reality of it is this, are there some times that maybe we could fill in a team, a local team, or a team that's ready to travel in for somebody who has backed out on us, or somebody who kids can't get out of school, or somebody who couldn't, a sponsor told them they was going to pay for them to come, and then all of a sudden the sponsor backs out on them so they can't afford to come as a team, which all of these scenarios have happened before. Of course we could, but then it waters down the stigma of being the youth national champion, because you can say what you want, whether if you play two games to get to the national championship, one game to get to the national championship, whatever the situation is. When you leave the YNC, you play the absolute most competitive gauntlet there is, back to back to back, in December. And that's the thing that we have to remember. And a lot of times it's frustrating, especially when as adults we get caught up in the emotion of the whole thing, right? We get caught up in, well, why this team didn't come here and why they went somewhere else. But here's what I also have to remember about the YNC. Three or four teams in the past that come to the YNC and could never win it. They always become runner-ups, or maybe they make the semifinals. You know what those teams do? Those teams find other platforms to go to and become national champions there. And this is a proven fact. And it's not to talk down on any of those teams, right? Because they found the platform that they are the best at, and that's cool. But you have to be really elite to be the best at the YNC. And that's what we strive for. That's what we put it together for. And let me put it to you like this. I myself have coached my own team two times at the YNC. I've never gotten any close than the national semifinals.
Was that with the Outlaws?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
if
got
I can
you.
put something together that I can't win, why should I water it down for you to win?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
You never won a national championship at
I,
YNC?
at YNC, I've never have. I've won Sloop National
Wow. Yeah,
Championship
I know you won the
a
Snoop
couple
one.
times, and then there was another platform we played where we won the national
I did not know
championship.
that.
But I've never won the YNC. In year one of the YNC, I had my son's team, the Friday Night Tykes team with Mizell and all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and we lost to the Atlanta Ducks in the
Mm-hmm.
semifinals, who happened to win the national title that year. And then when I brought my younger team, that was a couple years later, I brought them there. And us and Rare Breeds would always kind of bash heads back and forth with each other at that particular time. And we lost in the national semifinals to Miami Garden Ravens. And that's the year the Miami Garden Ravens won the national championship. So one thing I can say is both years we lost in the semifinals, we lost to the national champion. So but yeah, that's how I look at it. If I built something that I can't win, why would I water it down for you to win it?
Right.
I wanted to know, Clayton. Outside of Texas, people will say Clayton's Texas bias, but it feel like in Texas, I'm gonna say names, but it feel like
You can say the
they
names, it's
don't.
cool. You can say the names. You can
it
say the
feel
name.
like it
Listen,
feel
brother.
like
Hey,
they
I
don't
got I
they
got
don't they
thick,
don't
I
feel
got
the
thick
same way.
alligator skin, so you
Yeah,
ain't
it
finna hurt
feel
my
like
feelings.
no, I ain't worried about hurting your feelings. You know how people don't like their names being said. But it feels like inside of Texas, they don't see it. But outside of Texas, I know you've heard, man, Texas, Clayton is Texas bias. But inside of Texas, it's like they don't see it that way. Does it ever bother you that the people in your own state don't realize that you kind of maybe do go hard for them and everybody see you one way?
Man, it doesn't, right? And the reason I say that is because I try to stay true to what the best option is. I'm one thing I'm never going to do. I'm never going to cheat for anyone, right? I'm not going to cheat for somebody out of state. I'm definitely not going to cheat for somebody in state. Now, here's the reality of it. If we being real though, all those same Texas teams, Texas organizations that may say, well, Clayton has built this for Florida, or he built it for Georgia, or he hate on Texas teams and this and that. If we keeping it a buck, ask them how many times they've needed my help, or they've needed to consult me on something, or they needed my assistance, even with the littlest thing, and how many times I was there to help. And not just the Texas teams, but even the teams from California, and the teams from Florida, and the teams from Atlanta, and the teams from the DMV, and the teams from the Midwest. Anytime a YNC team needs me for assistance, I am there to help. And if I can't do it, I'll tell them I can't do it. But here's what happens. People love you until they want something that you refuse to give them, whether if they are right or wrong or not. And I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with the organization saying, well, we're gonna go to this other platform and we ain't fooling with YNC no more because they not this or they not that. Hey, I got the receipts, my boy. Because if I really tell the truth about everything, people will see you for what you really are. Because I can stand on what I am. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with it.
Hey,
I'm
and
okay
I
with it.
agree because I was told today, shockingly, that even though I rock with a lot of folks, you never charge nothing, right? And I was trying to get a team to come because we throwing the event this year. All right.
Mhm.
So them folks said, Ken, not everybody is like you. And I'm like, what the hell that's supposed to mean? We supposed to be in this for the kids. It's supposed to be, love being shown back. But it let me know that even though I do right by folks don't have the same intentions of doing right by me. You know what I'm saying? So I learned this
It's
today.
it's it's
This sad
always
though.
gonna be like that, bro. And let me tell you, not just in youth football. You got to remember, I'm a high school coach. There's some kids that I have bent over backwards to help them get into particular colleges, to help them get into particular schools, to get recognized, right? And the moment you don't do what they want you to do, or things seem a little shaky, they quick to turn their back on you, right? And it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing when you run a platform, you football. I mean, if you're talking about having a merchandising company, even with this streaming game,
Mm-hmm.
even with it, remember for a minute, people was trying to play a comment that I stated that had nothing to do with y'all
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
against like we had a problem,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what I
It's
what I what I
always,
say, Clayton? I say, Clayton, why you got these folks thinking we got a problem?
you know what I'm saying? But
I
that, you
say,
know,
he ain't got no issue, bro.
that's always gonna be how people look at it, man. And I'm okay with that because the people that truly know me, the people that have been around me when people need me, you know what I'm saying? I'm there to help.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there to help. You know what I mean? I had a dude, I'm gonna tell this story, man. I had a guy come to the YNC one year with a charter bus, and his sponsor was gonna pay the charter bus bill when they got to the YNC. Sponsor ran off on him, wouldn't answer the phone, nothing. Bus driver like, man, I'm not taking these people back if I don't get this bill paid. I paid the bill for them,
Mm.
paid the bill for them, and got them babies back home to their mothers and fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, they are kids, and I think in youth football, man, a lot of times, right? A lot of times we get caught up in the adult ego. I mean, let's keep it. If we're gonna talk, let's keep it
Let's
100.
talk.
The
For
turn, the
sure.
turn. Check this out, and here's why I say YNC is different. When our champions win, everything we give them, guess who it goes to? It goes to the kids. We're not giving them no cash money. When we take a team for a shopping spree, them kids get in the shopping spree. Them kids get the uniforms. Them kids get the cleats. Them kids get the shoulder pads. Them kids get the accessories. The kids get the trophies. You know what I'm saying? All of the rings, all that stuff. But you see all these other platforms where, oh, we finna give cash money here, cash money there. In my eyes, and I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, fellas, please tell me. In my eyes, that ain't going to the kids. That's
Mm.
going to the adults. Because I
For
can tell you,
sure.
if I say we finna give the winner $25,000, tell me some may, but most of them kids not gonna see a dime of that
I
$25,000.
don't trust it.
Am, am
I
I
don't
am I
trust it.
Man,
right?
Get them,
coach,
Am I
get them
right?
coach,
damn kids them uniforms, man.
man. Hey,
Tell me if I'm
listen.
wrong though, fellas. Because if I'm
No, you're
wrong,
not wrong. It's
I'll
some it's
accept
some
that.
coaches that real deal. They live off you football.
Now but on the flip side of that, bro,
Hey,
there are some coaches that do a lot for these kids. You got some
That's a
yeah,
fact
coaches
though.
that fund the whole trip for their kids. You got some coaches that's picking
Facts.
these kids up and taking them home for practice. You got some coaches that's helping these kids with their homework. You got some coaches that's coming to have these kids live with them because mom and dad is really throw, right? You got some coaches that's really
yeah.
down for these
Facts.
babies. But for every
Mhm.
coach you got like that, you got 10 more trying to pay their rent and their car note off youth sports.
For sure.
Okay.
And,
Let
and
me.
You know
let's
what I'm saying?
let's get this straight though. Ain't nothing wrong with making money off of youth football. What's wrong is when them kids never benefit from you making money off of youth football.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. And a lot of folks they don't reward these kids the way that these kids should be rewarded. But for those who are doing things the right way, bro, ain't no knock in what you doing. Do what you got to do to make sure that them kids benefit in the long run. My main focus really is that them kids get an experience and them kids learn about outside interferences, because these kids, they definitely need some guidance. And I think that in some cases, these coaches, they make these kids worse. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So,
I think right now, man, the issue that we have in youth football, right? And I know guys that throw events and have to rent different venues around the country. You feel this. The adults don't know how to act.
mhm,
Mm,
The adults don't know how to act. The fighting, the
mhm.
gunplay, the weed smoke. You know what I'm saying? The gambling, the all of that is all involved, right? And I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, Clayton, you act like, oh, don't none of that stuff go on at your event. I'm not saying it don't, but what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, it's still adults.
mhm,
Kids get into a scuffle on the football field, we can break that up. But I got mamas trying to jump fences and fight coaches because somebody done told her baby that he not very good. You know what I'm saying? It's always adult confrontation. That's the reason why these rentals are so high. That's the reason why these cop fees are so high. That's the reason why we're limited on where we can host events, because some venues won't even deal with youth tackle football at all because of the adult situations. I've
mhm,
never had a venue tell me you can't have your event here because the kids don't know how to act. It's
mhm,
always the adults.
Right.
And sooner or later, we have to look in the mirror and take ownership of that. Take ownership of that. When are we going to say, hey, we got to chill out? Maybe I don't like that coach. Maybe that dad was talking reckless on social media and on Facebook. But do I really need to touch him up now? Or do I charge it to the game because my son out here playing the game of his life? Like,
mhm,
these are the things that we're not thinking about as adults. And this is what's destroying you football. And my fear is that eventually it's going to get to a point to where nobody in the country is going to be able to do something for these babies. And ultimately, the kids are going to suffer, because I can tell you this: my kids that are all playing at Power Four universities right now, even to this day, when we talk about their greatest football experiences in life, they still talk about playing in the Snoop Championship, playing against Rare Breed, playing in the YNC. I got kids right now. I got a kid right now that play for Ohio State, and he still say, "Man, I done played against the best teams in the country, and ain't nobody better than EJ when we played against him at the Rare Breeds." You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that they still talking about.
mhm.
So as adults, man, when we act a fool, when we get out of line, we are taking these lifelong memories from these kids.
Oh yeah, it's been a robbery. I want to say the past 2 years, they've been robbing these damn kids out of them experiences, the
Yes,
memories. And I say, bro, just play the game. What are we scared for? These folks don't
absolutely.
even want to play games now, but they probably calling you trying to see if they can get in your event, but you don't even want to play the damn games.
Listen,
And
man,
that's where we got to that. That's where
and
we at now. Go ahead.
we the adult stuff and then the cheating, I get a team say, hey, Clayton, this kid here is ineligible. Boom. So, or this kid ain't meet certain criteria. Then I investigate it. Hey, the team provided this. The kid is good. Well, then what about this kid? What about that kid? Listen, man, now you questioning 5 and 6 kids. Listen, just sometimes you just got to say, hey, they were a better coach team, or they were a better team that day. Maybe they didn't cheat. Right. And then if they
Definitely.
cheated and got away with it, then hell, if they that damn good, maybe they deserve to get away with it. I'm just, what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You know
All
what I'm
right,
Yeah.
saying?
speaking of that, right? We
Mhm.
talk about it may not have been this particular one, but it just
Mhm.
reminded me of the DSE and then Georgia Eagles. That was a thing that you allow one to get away with something and then not the other. So what's the whole ordeal with that?
So the situation with the DSC situation was that the way that the kid's information was presented to us initially was that the kid was on varsity but didn't play, right? And our rules state that the kid can't play. All right. So then once the event started, the kid, we received information that the kid did play. And the moment I received it, I instantly started digging on it. So I found somebody who knew the OC of the kids' high school team, even though the kid is a seventh grader. And I called the OC right there on the sideline. And he's like, no, this kid definitely plays for us. And he played in the varsity games. So that's when I yanked him out the game immediately. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the issue became so heated because I told the coach, I talked to the head coach, and then you got a head coach and then you got a sponsor, right? So I talked to the
That
head
part.
coach. Yeah, I talked to the head coach and talked to him about the situation. The kid can't play no more. Whoop de whoop. Head coach was like, "All right, cool. I apologize. Whoop de whoop." Then the sponsor come back. No, this kid can't play this, and then that's where you start having the issue. You got the coach who understand things, but then you got the money man who financing everything, who think he just gonna will his power, right? So that's one situation. Now with the Georgia Eagles, man, let me make sure I present this correctly. You have to, bro. You have
For
to.
sure.
You
For
got to make sure
sure.
so with the Georgia Eagles, they were saying that there were two or three kids that didn't meet the minimal amount of regular season games. That supposedly they have watched all the games and they've never seen these kids, this and that, right? So to verify this, what do I have to do? I have to go to the Georgia Eagle and say, hey, I need pictures or video of these particular kids in these minimal preseason games. Two or three of the kids they sent to me instantly. Boom, 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 boom. The other two or three, they sent me the video and the highlights, but it was grainy. So I couldn't really tell if that was the kid or was not the kid. So it took them a minute to go through all their social media, to go through all their parents to get clear copies so I could verify that is that kid. And it all checked out. And then the people want to be upset with the results, right? I can't help it that the people had the information where they say, well, Clayton, they had all this time. They could have doctored it up or did it with AI. Listen, man, I can't tell you how to use AI. I don't use Chat GBT. So if they did all that, then maybe they got one over on me. But all I can tell you is that they supplied me with verifiable evidence of what you asked for. Now you asking for another kid, they supplied me with that. Now you asking for a third kid, they supplied me with that. At what point do we say enough is enough? You see
Mm.
what I'm saying?
So do you think there's only an issue because they won, or like if they would
So
have lost, if they would have still beat them, it wouldn't be as big of a deal.
I think so. It probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal, but they still would have spoke on it, just because that's just how certain things are. I mean,
Mm.
I can't speak on behalf of certain teams, right? All I can tell you is the facts that I know about it. I was approached. I did my job, walked over to the other team, said, "Hey, this is the accusation. Do you have verifiable information?" Some verifiable information came within 48 hours. The other verifiable information that I needed more clarification on took a little bit longer, but eventually they provided all the information. So it's clean. You see what I'm saying? Now, whatever else is going on the back end, and that he say and she say and this and that, it's like court, brother. I don't care about he say she say. What can you prove in court? And
Right.
what they proved to me and my board that they were above board. Now, if they got pass on us, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if they not gonna be the first team, in YNC history or in any youth football platform history to get over, and they probably won't be the last. Long,
Okay, so
long as there is gambling in youth football, somebody
Mm.
gonna always try to get over on somebody else.
absolutely. So because of that situation, I've heard or I've seen them make an announcement that next year that they're looking to go to AYF.
That's fine.
Um, yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to know, man, like, was there anything before that actual transition may occur? Is there any reconciliation or anything, you
I
know?
don't, I don't have a problem with DEA. You know what I'm saying? They have a great organization. They've won some championships at the Youth National Championship. If they choose to go a different platform, I respect it. That's all you can do is respect it. And then if they decide to do something different, then they'll do something different. The reality is by AYF going to 7-1, I believe it opens up a lot of doors for AYF to get some of those high level teams that have traditionally played at the YNC in their platform. But also at the same time, too, that's a revolving door. I believe that it also opens up the door for a lot of AYF teams who have parents and have coaches who want to compete at the highest level to say, now we can go to the Youth National Championship with our legitimate roster. You know, I think the pressure through this whole ordeal falls on these other platforms who aren't 7-1. I think the pressure now falls on UYFL. I'm not sure what the date is on Pop Warner, but on them, and then the other little local leagues around the country that don't have the 7-1, because now you have the largest platform, which is
Mhm.
AYF, and then you have the most competitive platform, which is YNC, all on the same age. And then you also have, you have C1N, I believe they're 7-1. I think UTN is 7-1, right? So you have a lot of people that have converted, they have followed our lead at the YNC to 7-1. So I think that will we lose some teams? We may. We probably will, but I think we'll also gain some as well too.
I wanna get into this, Clayton. I wanna know. I want to make sure I formulate it right because I don't be trying to get you in trouble, Clayton.
Hey, you got to say it right, my boy. You got to say it right. That's why sometimes
Brick.
I got to sit and think before I
Yeah,
respond
yeah. I
my
don't
stuff.
even want to get you in trouble. Brick City was probably one of the most talked about teams in youth football when it came to coming to YNC, and it felt like the word around town was you gave Brick City everything they needed to know in order to come to YNC. I just wanted to know from personal opinion, now that the season is over, do you think it was all smoke and mirrors?
So, number one, I can never speak on what they got going on in house because I
Okay.
don't know those guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this was Rare Breed, I could probably give an opinion because I know Coach Flanagan. If
Mm-hmm.
this was Voodoo, I know Coach O and Coach Bat, so I could give an opinion on that. If this was Bessemer, I know those people, right? So I could give an opinion on that. I don't know Brick City like that, so I can't give a true formulated opinion on it. But what I can tell you is this: before the season started, I told them exactly how they needed to structure things to be part of the Youth National Championship, to appropriately qualify for the Youth National Championship, right? And to put themselves in a position to be able to compete in the Youth National Championship, right? The things that we talked about were not completed. And since they were not completed, they were not allowed to be in the event. Now, which goes back to what we just talked about the previous situation. If I'm going to cheat for somebody, why wouldn't have I cheated for Brick City, which would have brought me a hell of a larger gate than we got? You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like if I'm a cheat,
Right.
let's cheat. Let's cheat for some benefit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things where everybody has an opinion. I think a lot of times the trolling on social media gets people out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, ain't nobody been trolled like I have, man. I've been douchebag of the year. I've been slumlord of the year. I've been janky promoter of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been so many things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it don't even bother me. But you know what I also have been too? I've also been the guy that a mama, her son, his chain done broke, and she done called me crying because that's all he talking about, and I had an extra chain and I mailed it to him. I'm
Mhm.
also been the
That
guy
part.
that the sponsor ran off, the plug ran off on your charter driver, and your babies can't get home, and I made sure y'all got home. I'm also the same guy that, what I'm saying, y'all done had too many people at the Airbnb and y'all done got put out, and I had to call the people that own the Airbnb and put my name on it to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, for every bad thing I am, I try to do a little good too.
That part. Coach, I want to ask you something because we get asked the question all day long, all year long. Is Jonah still a part of YNC or is he not?
Whew, man, I can't tell you how many times people have asked me that. Listen, man, listen. Jonah took away from youth football so he could focus on some family and personal things, and you got to respect that.
For sure.
Jonah brought so much life. Jonah brought so much energy, so much excitement to the Youth National Championship platform. And I hope that eventually he gets in a position where he feels like he wants to come back and be a part of it. But you got to respect the man when he say, "Hey, I got to, I got to, I got to take care of my family. I got to make some moves that make sense for the people that matter the most to me." I respect it.
Can teams leave the YNC? Is there an open door policy for coming back to the YNC? Can I
Depends
leave
on
and come back?
depends. Well, first off,
Hmm.
let me clear this up.
Okay.
The YNC was built for everyone to be a part of. That's why we built it. So you didn't have a situation where the AYF champ can't play the UYFL champ, right? Or you didn't have a situation where D1 can't play Snoop League, right? The YNC was built. We want the best teams no matter what league you're from or if you're independent. So there's no such thing as leaving the YNC and coming back to the YNC.
Mhm.
It's simply, and we're gonna say the adults, it ain't the kids, whether the adults can get past whatever their egos are, or they can't get past whatever their egos are. I mean,
Okay.
if we keeping it 100, that's what it all boils down to. The YNC is built for everybody, bro. So I don't care if you're in Alaska, if you're in Hawaii. You know what? Hell, bring me a good team from Canada. If they there and they can play ball and they meet all the criteria, we're gonna make it happen.
What's some of the like when it comes to rankings and everything, right? Because we jumped in the lane of rankings this year,
It's
and
tough, ain't it? When
it's
people
tough as hell.
pick your shit apart and you just spent 4 hours trying to figure it out.
Come
Hey,
on.
it's tough.
Hey,
It's tough.
days.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, when it comes to the YNC's ranking, is it a national ranking or is just a YNC ranking for the teams that come and compete at YNC events?
So that's a really good question, and there's a happy medium, if I'm being honest with you, right? Obviously, the
Hmm.
teams that compete at the youth national championship get evaluated by us. We're always going to weight teams that compete in our event at a higher weight because we know that we have the most competitive platform in the country, right? So
Hmm.
if you come in, if you're the national runner-up at the YNC compared to national runner-up on another platform, that YNC national runner-up is obviously going to weigh a lot more, if that makes sense, right?
Hmm.
But it is a national ranking. It is a national ranking because if it was not a national ranking, it would only be teams that compete in the youth national championship, and that's not the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. You know, we include we include teams and organizations that do not traditionally compete in the youth national championship, but the weight of what they do may not be as high because how can you compare a team from Idaho against a YFN or a DEA or a Georgia Eagles or a Rare Breeds or a
Correct.
Voodoo? You see what I'm saying?
I think they slip in. You know, it's some that's reasonable to be able to slip in every now and again. Like for example, you have Maryland Heat, who did what they did at a time where So Icy was considered a top three team before they came back, ultimately being the top two team at the end of the year. It was like, it's impossible to see them outside of a top five, but I definitely understand by what you're saying. It's weighted a little bit different and, rightfully so.
It's weighted different. I mean, it's no different than playing in the SEC or the Big Ten right now.
Hmm.
If you the conference champ in the SEC or the Big Ten, do you get the same weight that if you the conference champ in the Mountain West?
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm
definitely. I
saying?
understand.
And
Right.
no disrespect, right, to wherever you're from, but it is what it is. There's a reason why the OG Ducks travel the way that they do.
Mhm.
There's a reason why, you know, because I believe that the OG Ducks understand we have to get outside of the California bubble to truly test how competitive our team is because we might already be the best thing in California.
For sure.
You see what I'm
For
saying?
sure. Yeah.
If you know you're the best thing around, why would you not get outside that bubble?
So,
Definitely.
Clayton, let me jump in here, Micah. Clayton, how? So there are teams that always say, "Man, I missed YNC preseason." Has YNC ever considered throwing a tournament in October or a tournament in September to give certain teams an opportunity that might not be ready in July? They might not be ready. A lot of teams don't hit that stride till sometime
True,
September,
true,
October. Have
true.
y'all ever considered doing something like that?
It's something that we've talked about, right? And we still have a few more meetings, right? The one thing that's identified right now is the YNC preseason nationals this year is going to be July 30th through August 2nd, right? Everybody's asking where are we looking at. I am working on a venue in Atlanta. Soon as I get this venue locked down, then we will officially announce so everybody can start planning. Now, if the venue does in Atlanta falls out, then I've already got one. I've already got a backup venue locked in Houston, Texas, right? So,
Ooh.
so hopefully everything
Yeah.
will be in
Okay.
Atlanta because I believe that it is time to finally have this event in Atlanta. But again, it's about the venue. Can the venue hold it? You know, we have to make sure that all the things check the boxes. But if not, I already have a venue locked down in Houston, and they are ready for me to give them the green light. So again, July 30th through August 2nd. That is when YNC preseason nationals are going to be. Now, to answer your question about having some other events, it's definitely something that we've talked about. It's something that we're trying to work towards. Now, here's what I'm not going to say the issue is, but here's what makes it difficult. I'm a high school football coach. So every weekend, right? I'm playing on Friday, then Saturday, I'm with my team watching film. Sunday, I'm scouting for the very next team. Not to mention, my son plays Division One FBS college football. So if I do get a weekend off, I'm traveling to go watch my son play. You know, so that's the part that really makes it tough because not to say that I can't allow other people to run the YNC event for me, but for me, like I said, I can watch highlights and streams all day, but I really get a sense of how good a team really is when I'm watching them face to face, when I'm standing on that sideline and seeing how coaches are handling the kids and how the kids are responding to the coaches. And believe it or not, how the parents are acting in the stands because parents don't understand what they do affects those kids, right? These are the things that I really want to see before I say this team is legit or this team is not legit.
I
No,
want
And
to
I've been
ask
definitely,
saying
you
that
coach.
about
all the time.
yeah,
How when a parent misbehave, how that can pretty much mess them up in the future when they go back, they get into digging, and then all this footage that's on social media. They said kids got to pay for that sin, and a lot of folks think that they got away with it, but that don't be the case. That's why I be
how
trying to tell them, bro, just behave, bro.
right.
Damn.
How do we've got this question 40 times on here, and I want to make sure we get it before we get out of here.
Okay.
How do I get on the YNC radar? That question has popped up 5, 6 times. So people want to know, how can they get on your radar?
So here's the simplest answer I can give you. Win. That's the simplest answer that I can give you. Now,
Sheesh.
here is something that you can take out of one of our previous national champions from years ago, the crew. Out of Texas. They won it with a 731 roster. And I didn't cheat them because they was from Texas, right? But here's how you do it. They looked at the final rankings from the year before. They found the top three teams in the country on their list. And they either went to them or went to the tournament that they was at, played them and beat them. That's how you get on the radar. Go do that. If you really like that, go play Red Breed in Atlanta. If you really like that, go play YFN in South Florida. If you really like that, go play Georgia Eagles in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you get your name. Like if I was coaching you football again and I had me a 210 Apaches 12U team, right? You know what would be the first thing on my list? How soon can I get a hold of YFN?
That's how it used to be.
You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, and Marcus Flanagan can tell you, him and I played each other 3 years in a row. We met in New Orleans and always played each other, Red Breed versus San Antonio Outlaws. Because what I knew is that if the game was close, we had a chance to win the national championship. If it was a blowout, I'm not gonna have my parents waste that December Christmas money. You see what I'm saying? Know what you have before Thanksgiving. And I get it. Some teams hit their stride late. Some
Mhm,
teams hit their stride late.
mhm.
But if you never step in the arena with the big dog, how you really know that you're ready?
Right.
Mhm.
No,
You can learn a lot.
definitely.
You can learn a lot from that L and then get yourself ready for the victory in December.
100%. I want to ask you this too, Clayton. What's some changes that you have already making for this upcoming season, or some things in mind that you feel like you're going to change as far as the experience goes with YNC?
So we made the announcement, and I know a lot of people didn't hear it, but we're going to bring 5U tackle this year, right?
Hmm.
And it's 11-man 5U tackle, right? From what I've been hearing in some areas, right, they play I think 8-man or something like that. 11-man 5U tackle, right? So we're bringing that to the fold, right? Um, Me and my board, we're going to meet on 14U, man, because I don't know how much longer it makes sense to continue to have 14U. You know what I'm saying?
For
You know what I'm
sure.
Hey, we
saying?
ain't did a 14U this year. Last year and the year before that. I think it went when I seen OC Buckeyes versus OG Ducks. You know, not everybody competes at that age. So I think that it's gonna always be a thing for the West Coast because they don't have middle school.
Right, right,
You
and
know.
I get that. I get that. But as a nation, it's really kind of like a dying age group. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
we're gonna partner with some people to do some play-in stuff. You know, I know Queen gonna have a 5U event down there,
Oh,
and
the
I
queen,
believe their
man.
champion and runner-up they're gonna be part of the YNC event, right? You
Mhm.
know, I
That's
know
cool.
DT kind of he always has a big war zone thing that we may put something together to where his on certain age group his champion get bids into the YNC preseason or nationals or something like that. Like we're gonna partner up with people because we can't be everywhere. We can't be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, we want the best teams wherever they're from, wherever they may be.
Absolutely.
It's
Now,
just
do you?
about it's just about if everybody's going to fall within the criteria. Now, I will tell you this too. The way we verify things is going to change because every
Mm.
year
Mm,
I feel like we get a little bit better at trying to find the people that's straddling the line, find the people that's trying to cheat. Every year we get a
mhm,
little bit better. People got real smart this year. They stopped putting their lives on. So now we can't go back and look and verify kids and different things like that. So now we're going
mhm,
to put a different electronic process in place, that I think is going to make the situation a lot better. Every year I think we get better. And I had an old coach tell me one time about baseball. He said, "Man, they should just legalize steroids in baseball." He say because he says because for every time we figure out a way to detect the steroid, they got a set of scientists figuring out another way to get it in. Right? So same
mhm.
thing with this. For every way that they're finding a way to manipulate the system and get in, we're gonna find a way to shut it down and try to make it harder next time.
Mhm.
I like hearing that. And I think my last question for you, I don't know about the guys, but my last question would be as far as it goes with where you all stand with the brackets and stuff like that. Do you look to expand those brackets in some of those ages?
I think it's on a case by case basis because some
Hmm.
years, man, you have an age level that's hot and you got to do it. And
Yeah,
then some years you have somebody that's so dominant. Remember, remember when Reggie had his RDU team?
Oh,
absolutely.
for sure.
We could never
Absolutely.
get more than 5, maybe 6 teams in a bracket because everybody was so terrified of him. They would find any excuse. Oh, we got COVID. Even before COVID came out, we got COVID. We can't come to the tournament. You know what I'm saying? We got
Mhm.
COVID. My kids got, state administered exams. Oh man, the charter bus driver, I mean everything, bro. Right? So some years you have some really hot age groups where everybody is competitive and everybody wants to play everybody and it makes sense. And then some years you got a team that's so dominant that everybody's running from them. But one thing that is kind of a fine line to walk is number one thing I always promote is competition. If you're the best,
Hmm.
you should be playing other teams that are the best. But sometimes that can backfire you. Take Flanagan for instance. If he number one in the country, but he didn't play the top 8 teams in the country and then beat all of them, then what are the chances we're gonna get all top 8 teams in the country to the YNC?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they don't worry about the experience for the kids. They don't understand that iron sharpens iron. They don't understand that these trials and tribulations are really what's going to make their kids better in their development going forward. All they care about is, well, last time we lost the Red Breeze, they was talking shit to us on the internet, so we're gonna go somewhere else.
And that's the part I don't understand because I always look at Twin City, right? And I say Twin City was one of them teams that them folks said they shouldn't even go. They shouldn't even be. Man, them folks they beat number one through number three. You know what I'm saying? Number one, number two, and number three to beat Georgia Eagles, right? For the championship with Bryce. So my thing is this: yeah, you may lose in the regular season, but if you really believe in yourself, then you know what I'm saying, you can win it, but you gotta have that
Let-
belief factor. You can't run from folks.
Here's the perfect example, bro. Look at what GEA did this year on 7U.
Mm-hmm.
GEA might have had the most dominant run in the country. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's talking about YFN, right? Of course, everybody's talking about rare breeds. But if we really digging into it per age group, GEA had the most dominant run in the country this year. And look at what happened at nationals. I had teams who paid their money back out because they didn't want to be embarrassed by Coach Ken and them.
Right.
I got guys calculating, oh man, look like we're gonna be the seventh or eighth seed. That means we're gonna have to play Ken in them first. Nah, we just not gonna come. And then
Right.
go to another platform and still get their head bust.
Have you ever considered the day of, like, just making, like, to where folks don't know who they're going to play until the day of?
So here's the thing: I don't release the bracket until the night before the
They
event. After the
calculating.
after certification, we do the coaches
Mm-hmm.
meeting. But everybody kind of
Get the
does their
calculating.
own little some breakdown of
Yeah.
what they think it's gonna be, right? And here's what I used to do: anytime I saw something online, if that was the bracket, I would just change it, right? But then I started figuring out that guys is just putting up a bunch of different. They put up what they don't want, so that
Mm-hmm.
way they make sure they don't have it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but I mean that's what I always think is the best part. For me, the most exciting part is that bracket release with the coaches meeting and watching all
Mm-hmm.
the coaches, the ones
Go
that's excited,
crazy.
the ones that's
Yeah.
scared, the ones that's faking the funk. They
Mm-hmm.
sitting there talking noise like they ready. And when they get they caught it, like, oh man, these parents gonna kill me. We done spent all this money and we finna be one and done. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just part of it, man. The YC experience in my eyes is second to none. Here's the thing. People want to talk down on the YNC. Oh, you know, it ain't this, it ain't that. Everything is not. I can show you 10, 15 things of what it is. Don't talk to me about what we not. Let's talk about what we do, what we provide, what we are. These are the things that people lose sight in because they get caught up in the adult ego stuff.
I
I
want to
thought I had one.
well, Micah, you cut off because you said you only had one, so you done. This
My
my
bad.
last one, and I'll let Ken finish. So Clayton, as a high school coach, do you feel like youth football coaches are developing kids before they come to you, or do you feel, from your years of coaching, that the kids now are probably the most underdeveloped that you've seen?
Some are. You've got and let me make sure I'm clear on this. I have seen some staffs around the country that do an excellent job teaching linemen how to get second level, right? Teaching a young quarterback the difference between cover two and cover three and what the keys are, right? Teaching a running back that when they're going inside zone, if the guard butt bounces out, that's the sign to make you cut back. If the guard butt stays in, then you continue to ride it out. Like all of these different nuances of the game that make kids special. There are some coaches that are really doing a great job of that. But if I had to put a percentage on it, that's about maybe 10, 20% of the coaches out there. 80 to 90% of them, they are running the exact same offense they ran when they was on JV in high school 15, 20, 30 years ago, and it's not benefiting these kids with the new speed and space offenses and being able to and having to play defense against these spread offenses, right? Some of these guys really have to understand that it's not about them, it's about the kids. And here's my key. If you don't know, go to a clinic. They've got a lot of online stuff that you can purchase at a very cheap price that can teach you, right? Or pair it with somebody who's done it and won it. Because I'll be the first one to tell you, I go to coaching school every year, twice a year, because I don't know everything. Now, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you. I think I can go into any Power 4 university and be an OC because I'm like that when it comes to these X's and O's. I can dial some shit up, but I still don't know everything, and I try to learn every phase of the game. The thing that I the phase of the game that coaches neglect the most is offensive line. As a high school head coach, I can tell you this. If I get a new job somewhere, guess what the first coach is I'm looking to hire? My offensive
Oh,
line coach.
coach.
Then I look for a DC or an OC because that offensive line coach is going to make or break you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
that's where we're failing at, the offensive line.
Going into that war room, like I want to know what it was like for y'all to put SCD over Bugatti in those final rankings. What made you all go with SCD over Bugatti? Seeing that they lost they took those losses that they did.
Because SED lost to teams that were older than them, and then they bounced back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Bugatti was not Bugatti was not stretching the envelope by playing a team that was older than them or that was of a high caliber of them. As we got towards the end of the season, Bugatti started getting conservative because they wanted to hold their spot so they wouldn't be on the same side of the bracket as you know who. So that
Mm.
ultimately burned them.
Okay.
Mm.
Go ahead, Ken.
Nah, so just to recap the season, far as I mentioned earlier, there was some brackets short or whatever. But I think anybody who actually went there and got the experience, they would say that they had the best games that they seen. I think every
Come
game
on.
that
Talk to
came
him.
that
Talk
they
to
that
him,
they had,
Ken.
right?
Talk to the guys in the back, Ken. Oh man, y'all only had 5 people in y'all bracket. All 5 of them teams would have beat all 10 in y'all bracket. So
Yeah, hey, so I would say that there wasn't not a game that people didn't want to watch. So even if we talking about BCU and SED, if we talking about SED and Supreme,
man,
we talk about YFN and Voodoo, right? We talk about SED and YFN, like they had a lot of games, right? That people wanted to see. So my question is like, even though it wasn't as many teams as you would like, man. What was your overall assessment, man, just for this year's event in general?
so obviously, I look at it from a different set of eyes. Every year, I see things that we could do better. You're always gonna be your own biggest critic, right? And my staff will tell you, man, I be on they butt so much, man, that they just like, man, can we do anything right? Because I can always find something that wasn't done properly or that we can do better, right? And it's the same thing when I meet with my board, right? We talk about the exact same thing. Like, that Voodoo YFN game, there are so many things that I felt like we fell short on, whether if we talking about the stream, whether if we talking about the way we handle the crowd, whether if we talking about the certification process or the experience that we provided. Because let's be real, guys, that was the youth football game of the century. You hear
Mm,
me? The
mm.
youth football game of the century. You know, so there's always something that can be done better, right? But for me, man, I always when I look back, I think about just again, what is the crowd telling me? Do I see the smiles? Do I see the laughter? Do I see the oohs and ahs? Do I see the kids celebrating? As much as y'all see me pushing them kids off the fence, do I
Mm,
see kids trying to jump the fence to be part of the event? If I see that, then I know we have done an excellent job. And that's what the YNC provided this year. The
mm,
YNC provided an atmosphere like no other. Did we have 90 or 100 teams? We did not. But the 70 or 65 teams that we had, they put on a phenomenal show to represent the areas that they're from. And there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that in the world. You know, say what you want. Don't talk to me about a bunch of turf fields. Don't talk to me about no lavish this or no lavish that. Sometimes it's better when you get it out the mud. And when you get it at the YNC, it can't be duplicated.
Have you ever felt? This is my last question. Have you ever felt a game as intense as the Voodoo YFN?
So you got to remember, I've seen some great ones, right?
Mhm.
So, the first great one that I remember, right, was when Coach P and Rod Mack with the Purple Machine first time they met up at St. Thomas Aquinas when we used to have the national championship there. Neither one of them had lost a game in like 4 years,
Mm,
right? And then you have the year that excuse me. Then you have the year that Coach Butter and his Fort Lauderdale, I'm sorry, not Fort Lauderdale, his Miami Garden Ravens team came back from like 28 points down to win at the end of the game. Then you got the IMG year when you had Lambeau versus Bay Area
Bay
Packers,
Area
right?
Packers.
And
Yeah.
that thing was stupid, right?
Mhm.
And then you have this game here. Or you go a couple years back when you had Rare Breeds and everybody had them as a clear favorite, and Boynton Beach almost knocked them off. I
Mm.
mean, there has been
Inch.
some high pressure games
Hmm.
that have come through the YNC, man. But I will say that Voodoo and YFN game, man, it was special. From the celebrity attendance to the crowd to the to the just everything about it was amazing. People say, Clay, you was a genius by moving that game to 7 o'clock that night.
Yeah, for sure.
I
For
probably
sure.
was. Every now and then I get a good idea.
Yeah.
Every now and then, right? But man, but here's the great thing about it. The question is, what's going to be the next great game to top that one at the YNC? Because I'm going to be honest with you, you can get two heavyweights at another platform, but it's not going to have that same seasoning on it. It's not going to hit you right here like the YNC does.
Mhm. So yeah, man. So you can end us out, man, by just telling them what to expect, just this upcoming season, man.
So listen, man. First off, man, um, let me tell you this, man. I appreciate everybody that supports the YNC, whether if you are media, whether if you are a parent, whether if you're a coach, if you're a player, if you're a fan, if you're a hater from afar. I appreciate you the most because every time you put up a hating post, every time you make a comment, you inspire three or more people to come on over and say, "What is he hating about? Let's take a look." So I appreciate y'all, right? But the one thing about it is, man, as we continue to be the front runner in this youth football game, from redefining the age group across the nation, the cutoff date, to redefining how rings and trophies are viewed, to redefining the player packages that these babies get when they prove that they are the best in the world, right? As we continue to lead this, just know that, man, 2026 is going to be an amazing year. 2026 is going to be a year that we really put some things out there to show you guys how much we really appreciate these babies and these parents. And I can tell you this, like I said, preseason nationals, we're going to be July 30th through August 2nd. Again, we hope to be in Atlanta. If we won't be in Atlanta, we'll be in Houston, Texas for sure. But right now, I'm about 90% sure we're gonna make Atlanta work, right? But again, it ain't done until the ink dries on the venue contract, right? So we're currently working on that, man. In addition to that, every year we strive to try to make the youth national championship better and better. Got to give a shout out to Battle, our sponsor, right? Without them, man, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that we do for these kids, for these babies. And again, it's about partnerships. It's about working together, and sometimes every now and then you got to work with somebody that you may not necessarily agree with personally, but you know what that's called being an adult, and that's called doing what's best for these kids. So
Hey,
hopefully,
you got the gift of
hopefully it
gab,
happens.
Clayton.
Well, I say that
Some of the
dude daddy was a pimp, boy.
dude said, "Hey
Hey,
man, he
buddy.
made me want to
He
go
said,
buy a car, boy."
what man said he could sell water
Hey,
to a well, boy.
hey, he got
He said he
somebody
was a
a
pastor or
commission.
something, bro. He said he
Yeah.
came from the church, man.
It's crazy
Hey,
because
but
He
all
look,
the
was
Atlanta
saying,
people said Houston. All the Atlanta people in the chat root for Houston. That's crazy. But we want to talk to our guy Corey too, man. I know he's I don't know how new he is on the scene, but publicly wise, he's been new these past couple years. So we definitely want to holler at our guy Corey and pick his brain too. So you got to get with us with
bug in his ear, man. Put the bug in his ear for us.
Hey, I'm gonna put y'all in the test group with Corey because here's the thing, bro. Corey is the funniest cat walking if you ever just sit up and chop
Mhm.
it with him.
the
He come with
commentating
these.
is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, man,
Yeah.
he is super super duper funny, man. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna connect y'all with Corey because he always like if we just kicking it, bro. You ain't even got to go out. Just grab a bottle, sit down with Corey, and you finna laugh. Or play him in dominoes, and you really gonna laugh because he think he the best domino player this side of the planet, bro. We getting his head bust and still talking trash. So yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, bro, we appreciate you,
Appreciate it.
man. We know you're a busy
Appreciate
guy, but
appreciate it.
definitely, you could be a one-stop shop, man. When folks got questions, man, just come on here, just put it to rest. Because like the one thing about us, we allow everybody to say what they want, and then we hear the problems that people have, and then we bring the solutions. You know what I'm saying? We let the people we let them hear the stuff coming out the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? They take what they want from that.
Ken, let me answer this one question that just came by because I get asked this question a lot. So, somebody was saying, Clayton, can you do preseason after or before Junior Olympics? Here's why we always use that last weekend of July, first weekend of August. Not just myself. I got 4 or 5 guys on my staff. We are all high school coaches. Coach Birch is a coach at IMG. Obviously, I coach my high school here, and we've got 3 or 4 other guys around the country that are all high school coaches. That's the last weekend we're off before we all start fall camp at our high schools. So that's why it's always that weekend, right? I would love to do it after Junior Olympics, but we wouldn't be able to do it because all of us would be at our real jobs by then.
Absolutely. But hey, man, we appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
You know what I'm saying? Thank
Juwan, I hate you, bro. I hate you, Juwan.
All right, y'all. Hey, hit that like button on the way out.
All right, guys. Y'all be cool.
Appreciate it. You too, sir. Appreciate that.
Oh, shoot.
Hit the button, Ken.
Bro, my bad, bro. For tuning in, sports family. Also, go to all social media platforms. Link will be in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Thank you.